Yay! I think he's
Hey!
here.
That only took
What's up,
forever.
man? Yeah, sorry about that. So I was telling
That
Brittany,
was my fault.
it was partially mine too, because I totally screwed up the first invite. I actually canceled it because I didn't think you guys can get in. And so when I canceled it, it kicked you guys, like, you probably didn't see anything on your end. So anyway, you're in now.
Yeah.
And nobody, a good thing for us is that a lot of people might not be joining us because I restarted it, so the link isn't being shared. So that's kind of a good thing. We can just share the link later on Facebook or whatever.
Not for that.
Makes things a little bit more comfortable. So
Yeah.
for the first time at least.
Yeah.
So first of all, and I'm getting a little sick, so my apologies in advance. But
Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
that's all right, man. So first thing I want to do is thank you guys for helping me out. You know, I've been in the industry since like '99, and you don't meet people that are willing to help each other out as much as you used to.
Yeah.
And I think that nowadays you kind of have to find decent people in this industry. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's certainly how I feel now. So I just want to thank both of you for. I couldn't do a lot if it wasn't for photography. So I appreciate you guys kind of, stepping up and willing to help me out this year. It means a lot. It truly does. So
Yeah,
I just want to thank
problem.
you
Yeah.
guys. So I really just wanted to start. I have a cheat sheet. If I keep looking down, that's what I'm doing. And I think I sent it to you guys as well, the agenda.
Yep,
Yeah.
I have
So
it.
I'm not going to follow it word for word, but I am going to kind of go through it a little bit. So basically, for the people that will be watching this, I wanted to do something that's every week and something that will really expose some piece of the industry every week. So I wanted to start with you guys since you were joining forces with me. I thought it was only right to introduce to both of you and kind of talk to you guys, interview you a little bit, get your take on the industry and things like that, as well as everybody's already seen my ugly face because I've been doing some videos already. So I don't have to introduce myself, but I at least want to give you guys the exposure and kind of talk to you guys. And that's pretty much what we're going to do for the most of this. A few things I want to talk about would be Breakout as itself. We're going to be launching, I hope, come August, September. The holdup right now, which I'm sure you guys both know, it's money.
That's always a hold up.
So I know I've gotten some slack, and I'm sure there's some people out there that ask me or are curious as to why it's so different than Facebook. Honestly, it is and it isn't. I mean, basically what I'm doing is trying to create a social network specifically for paintball. It's not going to be like PB Nation where it's not going to be 100% forum-based, but it will have some forums and some threads to it. One of the bigger things, hence why you guys, I'm glad I have photographers help me out, is one of the bigger things of Breakout's going to be our media. So what I want to do is I have this like master plan of creating almost like an ESPN of paintball, right?
Okay.
And that's gonna tie in you guys individually to where your services will basically be offered through us. And honestly, I would not be taking anything. It would be just a network for you guys to use.
Okay.
But it would tie into the social network. In other words, if you guys were at an event taking pictures or whatever, as you upload them, they would come to our network, and those people can either buy them directly off of you or share them on their profile through our network. And that's kind of the high level of it. But essentially, it's connecting you guys to the players in a much better way. Because I don't know, and we'll talk about this once I get into it, but I think right now, you guys have teams and you have players you work with, but I think it could be a lot easier for you to get in touch with them. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But
No, it could.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my ultimate goal, is to gain the exposure for you, for the teams. I'm a huge supporter of these smaller companies coming up. I'll give a shout out to Chris Rangel from Under. He's doing an amazing job as a company right now, and those guys need the exposure. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this. Who knows? Some of the bigger guys might be yelling at me, but to me, I'll just say it. It's become like a huge pissing contest. A lot of these larger companies are kind of pooping on the little guys,
I agree.
and that's
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I don't want to do. That's what Breakout doesn't. I don't stand for that. Breakout doesn't stand for that. And so I'm glad I'm getting people like the two of you involved with me. I got other folks like Philip Veracruz. He does more MagFed stuff, which I don't know about you guys, but MagFed is totally new to me.
No idea.
I'm going to be. I'll explain it in a minute. So I'm going to be doing a MagFed breakout session next week, actually, with some guys in Texas that play it. So basically, what MagFed is, it's magazine-fed paintball. There's no hoppers. Like they're literally straight up feeding it into the gun. It's very paramilitary. I don't want to speak too much about it because I don't want to give it, false accusations. But
Yeah.
but it's interesting. And yeah, you guys will have to check it out because I'm supposedly getting like 8 or 9 people on Google Hangouts next week that only do MagFed. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, basically for you guys and for anybody that would be watching this, that's basically what I want to do with Breakout. We're going to be doing some things with fields and stores directly. I have a background in finance, and I'm very good at process improvement and things like that. And I don't know about where you guys are from, but a lot of the smaller fields tend to, and it's really not their fault, but they tend to lack in the customer acquisition in field. They just don't. A lot of field owners have a hard time reaching those customers, and honestly, the reason being they're just too busy to put any type of emphasis or focus on getting marketing out there. So that's another thing we're offering. Honestly, a lot of my time's going towards the network and the media portion right now because I just want my main goal, and I don't know, as photographers, we'll talk about it. I think I actually had it as one of my questions. My main goal for media is to get the general public involved. I don't know about you guys. You guys seem like you're a little younger and newer in the industry, but it's so hard to explain to people that don't know what paintball is what paintball is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know it's going to be difficult. It's like going up a mountain that's 90 degrees, but I want to get there. My inside joke with myself and my family is if I can get my wife to understand paintball, we're good.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get into it. I wanted to kind of introduce the two of you, let you guys talk a little bit about yourselves. Brittany, I could start with you. So
Okay.
again, thank you guys for being a part of Breakout, but I want kind of everybody watching this to understand who you guys are. Like, how long have you been in the industry, where you're from, just things like that. Like, what got you into paintball, basically?
Okay. Well, for me, I started into paintball with speedball, and I started playing in 2010, just occasionally. But then through Instagram, actually, I was introduced to CXBL.
Okay.
So I played 2 seasons there and fell in absolute. I loved it, every bit of it. The price, not so much, but the whole aspect of what paintball has to offer, I fell in love with.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what's your, since you mentioned the CXBL, I guess I got to touch on it. What's your take on what happened recently with them kind of becoming the NXL affiliate? And I know it's not the same as it used to be, but so were you actively photographing when all that stuff, photographing when that all kind of went down, or?
I didn't get into photography until after the season when they started talking about going into NXL. So I never photographed any CXBL, but it's a real negative thing for the CXBL happened, where they were associated with NXL, because that's what lost its draw for the Americans to come up. Because why would the Americans come all the way from the southern areas of the States all the way up to Canada, where they're playing the exact same thing that they can do in the States?
Right.
So CXBL took a hit for that.
Yeah. Which is funny, and Matt, I know you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
So you probably being in the States too, you'll understand this, but as a player playing NXL PSP for a long time, I can tell you that the CXBL appealed to us so much because it was the original X-Ball format. They never changed it.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it was a huge blow. Well, according to Brittany, it was, but it was a huge blow to the tournament scene for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So 2010, and have you been? So when did you get into photography then?
This year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your work doesn't show it. I can tell you that much.
Thank you.
Like, I'm telling you, between the two of you, you guys are both just phenomenal photographers. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have reached out to you guys if I didn't get that. And so, and I'll keep this question to Brittany and Matt. I'll probably ask you the same question, so bear with me, man. So then, how did you get into it? Like, I know you got into the paintball, obviously, because you were playing, but, you know, a person with a camera showing up to a paintball field, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I can certainly tell you from Chicago and St. Louis, where I both have lived, there's some days where there will be a dozen photographers out there. So,
yeah.
So how did you get into it and get to where you are now, basically?
Well, even before I picked up a camera, before I had the idea of doing it, I would see paintball photos being posted on Instagram from some of the well-known photographers in paintball.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that like something could be changed about them, or that I wanted to do something with it. But I didn't have a camera, so I didn't know how to get into it.
Yeah.
So I was able to work with, and I'm forever grateful for it, I was able to work on some of Navok's photos.
Which I'll stop you really quick. For the record, you know he recommended you to me. So shout out to Invoke.
Awesome. But yeah, he gave me the opportunity, with barely even knowing me, to work on his photos. And then when I started doing the edits, it got addicting. And I wanted to do more of it, but I wanted to make it my own. And so then he started suggesting what type of cameras to use, what type of lenses to use. Then I decided that it was time for me to get my own camera and then go to a field, and then I shot ESPL. That's one of the local paintball tournaments here in Ontario. And after the event, I fell in love with it, and I just wanted to see where I could take it, where I could go with it.
That's cool. Yeah. And so from there, have you kind of gotten, did you do your own legwork to get teams, or how's it kind of gone from there? Do you have teams actually reaching out to you now?
For right now, since that my name isn't that well known yet, or to where I want it to be known, I am the one reaching out to the teams. I'll be messaging them. It's either players or team owners or coaches, whatever I can do to kind of showcase to them what I am able to.
Well, hopefully we'll change that for the both of you.
Yeah.
I'll try my best to make it a little bit more easy for the both of you, and that's my goal. I like the fact that I am working with photographers that, you know, you have the Invokes, you have the Spantastics, you have there's just a bunch of more well-known, well-established photographers out there, and they're doing a fantastic job. But there's so many of you guys out there that are doing just as good of a job, but I just don't think you're not getting the exposure you deserve. So
yeah, we're not.
Yeah, that's where I come into play.
Yeah.
That's again back to Breakout's mission. So, so then what's your? Let me go to my questions really quick.
Yes.
So I know I was going to try to have him on here, but he's actually going to be on next week. But like Philip Veracruz, who does all the MagFed stuff, I know he primarily got his start. He literally just goes and shoots open play, and then he started meeting all these dudes that played MagFed. So aside from, did you jump right into the CXBL, Brittany, or did you kind of visit, I don't know, are there local fields where you are? I know you're like way up there. But
The first, well, I would just do local events. So I did the ESPL, and then I did the local tournament in Montreal. I think it's called MIPL.
Okay.
And then I was offered from some teammates I used to play with in CXBL if I wanted to photograph in Excel. So that was my first official event I went to, and that was
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, and you were at Cup this year or last year, right? Did you go to Cup? Yeah. How was that that was your first Cup, right?
Yeah, that was my first Cup.
How was it?
It's hard to put into words, but it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I think I asked you all my questions. That was quick. Well, you kind of touched on this, but I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit. Well, two things. One, what are your goals as a photographer in the industry? You know, obviously, along with every player out there, well, I shouldn't say every, 90% of players out there, we all have day jobs, right? So, you know, paintball to us, it's a way of life, but it's also, realistically, we do it with the money we make from our day jobs. So, for you, what is your goal as a photographer? I know it's super hard question to even ask this, but did you want to make it a full-time gig one day? Is it just something you enjoy doing? Like, what are your goals as yourself for photography and paintball?
Well, I think that we all know that paintball, there's really not that much money in it. We do it because we love it. So for me, I guess my main goal for this season is just to build those relationships with the people that are within the community, to get to know people, to get to just expand the relationships with everyone.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny you brought up the money. I saw a post today that was out there from somebody, and he's like, his post was basically alluding to the fact that there is a ton of money in paintball. It's just all in a few different places. It's really not trickling down.
Yes.
And that's, I totally agree with you. And I wish, I'm not God. I don't have this magic wand. But again, back to, and I don't want to keep plugging Breakout, but I guess I am. Again, back to our mission. That's what I want to see one day. I want to be able to see, like, you guys might not be doing it for $50,000-$60,000 a year, right? But if I can create something that can show that it means more than you guys just snapping a photo, and that it is a way of life for you guys, and be able to at least get you guys something to where you're not paying out of pocket to go to these tournaments, to pay for your food, to pay for your airfare, I think it would mean more to people in your situation than if you were making $60,000. As long as it got to where, like, you guys can continue doing what you love and exposing the sport, that would probably be the first tier where both of you guys are headed, right? I mean, that's that's everybody's dream. That's my dream. If I can get something off the ground that exposed the sport more and actually stood for the players and photographers, and I refer to it as we're like the 80%ers, because I feel like 20% of the industry is here and 80%'s here. So cool. I'm trying to think. I didn't ask you this. So as a photographer, technology's changing. I'm sure you guys, like, when I finally meet you guys in person, I'm sure I'm going to see a ton of different lenses and a few different cameras. Like, I could be wrong, but I know a lot of photographers, you guys get a little anal when it comes to different things you use.
Yeah.
But with technology and all those changes, where do you see, we've already kind of seen, like, the live streaming come into play. We've already seen, with GoPros, they just released that thing. It was a very short clip, but with Chad Boucher from Houston Heat, he was mic'd up, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, as photographers, where do you guys see? Do you see any huge advancements in how the game is captured these days, or where do you guys see it going?
Am I allowed to answer this one?
You guys can both answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 360 camera. I don't know if you guys saw it yet.
I want one so bad.
Yeah. Those are pretty cool. And then obviously the drones, they're everywhere. But they kind of got taken away a little bit since you have to register and you have to have a permit just to fly them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than those two, I think those two are the biggest things that I've seen so far. Was the 360 and the drones.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brittany, did you want to add to that before I chime in?
The only issue I kind of have with, I guess, trying to take the technology to the next step is the media pass for us photographers. Yeah.
We can't get to the next step if we can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
I do realize that the price for the media pass has dropped dramatically since the PSD days, but for us as photographers, where we have to pay for our airfare, our hotel, if we get a car or not, and then have to pay $200 for a media pass, it gets to us. Even if they were to lower it to maybe $100, it would be better. But I think that's also another reason why there's not a lot of photographers.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you hear $200 media pass, you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to pay that.
Yeah.
And now is that now I was all PSP, so I'm still new to the NXL as far as all the guidelines and stuff. But I'm assuming that $200 doesn't even give you guys range of the pro field, right? Like that's.
Nope. I wish.
No, that's divisional for us.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not bashing anybody here when I say that, but $200 that's a little ridiculous when it comes to divisional.
I think pro was 500.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Last year it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now do they limit the media passes still? Like, are there only a certain amount they give out, or can anybody
I don't
pay
think
the
so.
$200?
For the pro field, I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay. Well, I feel you guys. I mean, that's something I want to hopefully help you guys with one day, because I can't imagine, especially. Well, I know, Matt, at least you're in the States, but still, you guys both have to travel. And Brittany, I can't imagine. Granted, you're in Canada, but you still have to cross a country border, and you still have to.
Yeah.
You're still going through customs, and then you got to get to where you need to be. And I couldn't imagine. My hat's off to you, because you guys don't even play. I'm a player. I run a Division 3 team, and we don't even like to travel. So, let alone just a photographer. You guys are probably paying as much as some players pay to go places. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
And we don't have a team to split it up with.
No, that's true.
Right. Yeah. I got 10 guys I can split something with. Right.
Yep.
So then, how does that work? And I guess so. Before we get into like the joint questions, Matt, if you want to kind of give me the rundown as well. I know you're from PA. Are you like where are you at in Pennsylvania?
Upper Darby. I think it's 20 minutes out of Philly.
Okay. I go to Philly for work all the time. We'll have to meet up.
All right. Let me know when.
Yeah. I usually stay in city center when I go, but
But judging by your hat, I don't think we're gonna get along too well.
Hey, wait. For the record, I'm a huge Flyers fan as well.
Okay.
So. I'm a huge Boston. Dude, I'm all over the place. I'm from Chicago, live in St. Louis, but I'm a Boston fan. So I get a ton of crap when I go to Philly, and I get a ton of crap when I go home up to Chicago. So.
All right. Well, I apologize then.
We're good. Trust me. I'm a huge Flyers fan too. So cool. And so now. You've kind of been. I know you do the NXL, but you've also done the EPL, right? You've done the PGPL, right?
Yep.
And do you? I think, if I remember correctly, you've kind of dipped into some scenario games as well.
Yeah.
From time to time. Did I miss any leagues that you do? I thought I missed one.
GPL and
GPL.
Foxball, I think, were the other two.
Okay. For the record, that was kind of cool that today I commented on that team's page. I had no clue that you used to.
I know. I was like, oh my god, I know both of these people.
So then tell me a little bit about how'd you get into it? It seems to me like you've been keeping yourself pretty busy, but were you like Brittany? Did you just kind of dive head first into it? How'd you get involved?
I think when I was 8, I started watching paintball stuff, and that's when I learned exactly what it was. I had no idea what it was before that. Yeah. And then when I turned 10, I think the weekend of my birthday when I turned 10, I went to go play, and the field I went to was actually closed, so we ended up going ice skating or something. And then since then, we always plan to go back, and I think I did a couple months later, and then that was my first time playing. I played in where it was just a pallet field, a couple of really dirty inflatable bunkers, and then I pretty much fell in love with paintball right after that. And then I played off and on until I was about 15. I played baseball a lot. That was my sport.
Yeah.
And when I turned 15, I got a heart condition where I couldn't play baseball anymore. I couldn't play any sports pretty much. So I was like, well, I can play paintball. I just can't tell them that I'm playing paintball, and I'm not going to be stressing myself out as much because I don't have to run.
Right.
So I started playing paintball again a lot when I turned 15, and then played a ton up until turned 20, I think, and then started watching photographers at my field, watching them shoot paintball, and started looking at their images, started watching videos, how they made them, how they edited pictures, and then went out, bought a camera for some point-and-shoot camera for like $200, and went out there, started taking pictures, and then a couple years later, here I am.
That's cool, man. So you've been so which the leagues screw me up, but I know the EPL for sure. That's an East Coast league, right? Just strictly East Coast.
They do have events in Carolina, I think.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, most of their events are around here.
Okay, I gotcha. And so then, were you PSP that made the switch to the NXL, or are you to
No. I got into photography right after. Well, I shouldn't say right after. I wasn't into any national leagues when I first started.
Okay.
I just couldn't afford it. So I think when the NXL came around, I started getting a little more adapted to photography, and then I went to World Cup. That was my first national event.
Man, I'm getting. Brittany, was World Cup your first NXL?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yep,
I'm getting both of you guys. Both of you guys are after the first national. That's cool. So I'm trying to think if there's any individual questions I want to ask you, Matt, before we get into some group questions. Well, I guess we can kind of go back to what we were talking about, and so now, and Brittany, you can elaborate because I'm not familiar outside of the CXBL. I'm not familiar with some of the other leagues in Canada, but so some of the smaller regional leagues, do they charge you guys for media passes as well, or no?
No, they don't.
I got charged once, and then I haven't been charged since. So.
Okay. What was it? Just like a, hey, you're a new guy?
Yeah. I think the very first EPO event I shot, they asked for like $50, and I was like, all right, here you go.
And then you caught on. It was like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really anxious to be around you guys to see, because I'm always either from the coach perspective or the player's perspective. Mm-hmm. So from that perspective, it's completely different than what you guys see. And so I'm so anxious, if I ever get the chance this year, to actually go to an event and just be with you guys shooting. Like, it's going to be totally different for me.
Yeah.
From your perspective, how are some of these leagues, well, we can use the NXL, whichever one you guys want to, but I'm sure you guys see some pretty interesting things. Like, are you seeing a lot of chaos? Like
World Cup, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you talking? Which one are you talking about, Matt? Like, what situation?
The right before Philly Extremes last game on Saturday, there was pretty much a fight between the whole team and the whole ref staff on that field.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it was their fists were being thrown, but nothing landed. Luckily.
It's interesting. I'm sure you guys see a lot of that behind the scenes stuff, and that, ironically enough, I guess I could use ironically, but I want to be able to capture some of that stuff with Breakout.
Yeah.
I think some of that stuff's pretty funny. It's cool to me. I mean, you can't, although it's kind of a catch-22, because with what I want to do is expose the sport to the general public and new players. So I don't want to be showing teams fighting, but at the same time, for the people already in the sport, I want them to be able to see, like, look, we aren't just a bunch of 40, 50-year-old dudes like like the sport used to be, going out into the woods. This is it's become a very highly competitive sport.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. Where do you guys see? I know you guys both just did your first national event at World Cup, but were you following Matt? It sounds like you've kind of been around a while, and Brittany, you've been around since 2010. So have you guys been following kind of all the movements that have been happening with the industry in the past couple of years, into where they, with the NXL doing their own thing, with the PSP kind of phasing out? Have you guys followed a lot of that?
Yeah, I have.
Kind of. I'm more of I kind of follow more of just like what companies are doing, what they're doing to try to reinvent paintball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, was it are they still doing stuff up there? Empire was doing stuff up in Canada for a while, weren't they?
Yes.
As far as manufacturing.
Yep.
Yeah, I hold that one close to my heart because my grandpa lived like 2 miles away from the factory in Lakeland, Florida, that they moved to Canada. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I'm assuming you follow like a lot of the big mergers. Are there any companies you're aware of in Canada, like newer ones, smaller companies that are popping up, or?
To my knowledge, no.
Yeah.
Actually, well, it's more of like nothing for like paintball markers or paint making, but there's a new company coming out. It's R&M Headwear, and they're growing a huge popularity in the NXL.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did they? I'm assuming the NXL was their debut.
The
World Cup.
I think they've been out exposing themselves before that, but I think at World Cup you started seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, are a lot of CXBL teams moving, or have they made that merger to the NXL, or have some of those CXBL teams kind of just stayed up in Canada? Or they?
It's tough. It's either they choose to play CXBL or they choose to go and play NXL.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's difficult. That's probably where you're like, yeah, it's easy for me being a photographer to get into the States, but as a team, I can imagine.
It's different because some people might not have passports.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like both of you guys have the same goals as far as gaining exposure this season. And obviously, being with Breakout and helping us out and us helping you, we're on the same wavelength. So are you guys both attending all the NXL events? Like, what are your schedules look like this year?
The way I saw it was if I could afford Vegas and make the trip, I could probably go to all the other NXL events. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll be at all the events.
Nice. Now, how about like I said, Brittany, you got to forgive me. Are there any regional leagues up in Canada you'll be doing?
I'll see if I'll be doing ESPL events. I might try to see if I do some CXBL, but I know some of the CXBL events go near the NXL events, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And how about you, Matt? Are you going to dip into some of those regional events as well, like you have been?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do as many as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Did you guys have anything while I'm looking at my list? Do you guys have anything you wanted to talk about?
Under's paintball pants. They look really nice.
Oh man. I don't know if you guys could see. I got a box of them behind me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like, I think I have 11 pairs, and yeah, I'm tempted to keep them all, but my team would be a little pissed. But,
yeah.
We got some, for the record, I wonder if I could put this down. Yeah, let me put this down. I got to show you guys these straps really quick. They're really sweet. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Got so excited.
All right. So, I'm giving my own team props, but it's more just to show you guys. So did I go on? Here. So I don't know if you guys can see them, but these for the record, makes these straps. They fit any goggle, and they're amazing. St. Louis Ambition. They're just sweetly made straps. So
very nice.
Yeah, go Under. Yeah, he's Chris. Thanks, man. I'm telling you, Under just like Chris Rangel, like you owe me, man. I'm giving you props, but he ex-military, running this stuff out of his house. Like the dude's literally sewing. Like I know he sews his headbands by hand. Like the dude is just killing it by himself, and those are the like you guys. A little bit. I guess I can touch in a little bit, but I'm all DIY. Like I come from the punk rock community in Chicago, so I was that kid that was making flyers for shows. So I've kind of brought that mentality to paintball, right? I mean, I'm just some dude running. My kids are literally running above me, screaming right now, but I'm trying to run a company from my basement. Like that's the stuff I admire. Hence why, like, you guys kind of fit right into my mold, and guys like Chris from Under, I mean, for somebody to start a company, and I give him a lot of props. Like you said, you love those pants. Do you know how hard it is to break into this industry selling pants and straps? I mean,
he's gone really far.
Like, yeah. So, Chris, if you're watching, or when you watch this, like, all of our hats are off to you, man. I mean, he's just doing an amazing job. So.
Yeah, I think a year ago I didn't even know who he was, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. For the record, I got the multicam pants. They're so sweet. They're just.
I was looking at those.
Now half my team got the black ones, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I need to go with the multicam. The dude was in the military, so his multicam's got to be pretty sick.
Yeah.
So, and it is. I highly recommend his pants, man. And his straps. His straps are fairly cheap if you do custom ones. Like, maybe we can talk about getting some Breakout ones. But his straps are pretty cool. You design them yourself, and he just gets them printed.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Yeah. So
I'll definitely throw a Breakout strap on my ass.
Yeah. You guys do have shirts coming, by the way. I talked to my printer yesterday. We're talking pricing right now. So both of you guys will have long sleeve T-shirts for this season if you're willing to wear them.
Nice.
So,
what color?
Yeah. What color do you want? I haven't gotten that far yet. So I was talking about like an ash gray, but we can do whatever. I literally can do any color. So just let me know. Yeah. So we can talk more about the colors. So here's a question. You guys have already mentioned you might even answer this. Answer with the same answer you gave me before with another question. But if you guys, in the current state of the industry, this is probably a loaded question. What would you change from your perspective? If you could change anything, what would you change?
Do you want to go first, Brittany?
The monopolizing of it has to stop. Because in my opinion, I feel that for something to grow like paintball, the only way it will grow is if there's competition. Because that causes other companies to have to reinvent themselves, have to make their products better. But if there's no competition, there's no need for something to change. So I don't see how, if nothing changes, it can grow.
I thought, Matt, I'll let you answer. I just wanted to say, I thought you were gonna. My father-in-law always says, "If nothing changes, nothing changes." I thought that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that, Matt?
I agree completely. I think there's a saying. It's like, or not a saying, but it's a fact. You know, if there's a long span of time where there isn't a conflict or a war going on, there isn't a ton of advancements because there's nothing to advance for. You're not fighting. You're not trying to beat somebody else. You're not doing anything. So I feel like it's the same thing for paintball. If you have one big company, it's got a ton of money, spending all this money and advancing their stuff, all these little companies can't even keep up with them, and they go under. So now you're stuck with this one giant company taking over everything, and then they already have all the money, so what's the point of them trying their best anymore?
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was like, you know what? I'm 33, and I've literally seen. Look, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the entire history of tournament paintball, but I witnessed the MPPL and the PSP split, and that was in the early 2000s. And when that happened, that was a huge blow to the industry. But then we saw National Paintball Supply. If you guys aren't familiar with National Paintball Supply, I know some guys might argue this with me, but National Paintball Supply is equivalent to like the whole Key. They were that big. They were pretty big. So, yeah, I mean, but outside of paintball, I mean, you guys, all three of us are human beings. We live in society. We all understand that monopolizing, that stuff is happening everywhere. But unfortunately, like in my opinion, and I agree with the both of you 120%. To add to both of your opinions, to me, because this is a hobby and B a way of life to so many people, it shouldn't be that way. Like I should not. So many people stop playing paintball for A, how expensive it is, and B, so many guys that try to do something in this sport. Chris from Under, never go out of business. Guys like Chris, like Ruthless Paintball. I mean, I can name a ton of these smaller companies. Those guys eventually get kicked out.
Yeah.
And I kind of alluded to this earlier. It's like a giant pissing contest, and that shouldn't happen. I don't know. It just shouldn't happen. I know I'm just a little guy, but if you got bigger guys are out there, like there's got to be something else you can do. I mean, it's been happening for the past 15 years. It's going to happen for the next 15 years. I hope not, but unfortunately, I think that's just the way it is. It's almost like Coke and Pepsi, right? I mean, that's how I feel.
To add to that, when the GoPro came out, that was the first. I guess I don't want to say helmet cam, but that was the first big helmet cam that started popping up, and then a couple years later you've got Sony has their own, got I think probably a good 5 other companies that made their own now, and now GoPro is trying to keep up with them, so now you've got all the GoPro coming out with their 4K GoPros and even smaller GoPros now, so they've got to compete with all the other guys like the replay camera and all those.
Right. Yeah, and look, Breakout Paintball hasn't even officially launched yet, and I can tell you I've already had to tweak some of the things I'm doing just to kind of stay afloat. Yeah, and it's Brittany, you've kind of, both of you guys touched on it, and I think Brittany, you started the conversation about it, is like the little guys are forced to try to do something, otherwise they just kind of get squashed. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, my potential launch is in August, September. Every day, I'm literally sitting around notebooks. Like every day, I'm like, what new? I have Innovate written on my hand. Like every day, I have to like, what can I do? Because I can't. The second you get stale in this industry, you're done.
Yeah.
Because, like they're just gonna step on you.
Yeah.
And yeah. But look, I'm not going anywhere. So like, I'll find a way. And it's just fascinating to me to hear that, two photographers, and I'm sure there's more of you guys out there that that feel that way, and there's got to be something that can be done. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the guy that's going to change it all, but there's got to be some other way. And you guys probably, like I said, I'm fascinated to sit behind you guys and watch your point of view, because you guys are kind of like that fly on the wall, right? And I've done it as a player. I've walked past a photographer hundreds of times. We don't pay attention to you guys. Like we forget you guys are there. Like, so you guys are seeing stuff that like we don't even notice.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably like, stuff happens all the time. What are you talking about? They're charging me $200 to film your ass.
So we know.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it's also, it makes my head hurt, but thanks for sharing your opinion on that. It makes me feel good, although it's a bad feeling. It makes me feel good to hear that other people kind of feel that frustration. especially photographers. I mean, you guys are exposing the sport, no matter what happens, and you see it in that frame of mind. It's just, yeah. So I think we touched on this, and Matt, well, I think Brittany, you kind of finished this discussion, and then we kind of, my ADD kicked in and I veered off a little bit, but the whole technology piece, and that's one thing as Breakout I wanted to do, was get into like live streaming and stuff, which live streaming is already being done with paintball. But again, I kind of mentioned that I'd eventually want to create like the ESPN of paintball, right? Okay. And there's some other fascinating things I'd like to do using technology, and I had $800 in my hand, Matt, to buy one of those. What's the one that looks like the 360 camera that's like it might be called the Ball or something. It's like a black ball, and it's just got cameras.
I think I just saw that today.
Oh, that camera's amazing, man. I think they just released it, or it's like still in beta. But I'm not going to lie to you. I literally had money in hand wanting to buy one of those because I had some amazing ideas. But I think, Brittany, you were kind of like, technology, not so much. So where do you, Matt, I kind of heard your point of view, but there are advances that can be made, but I think I don't want to answer for you, Brittany, but I think what you might have been thinking, or what I think you might have said was, yeah, there's advances in technology, but the industry's got to stop this whole monopolizing stuff, because if we can't advance, like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
How are your thoughts on that?
I feel that as soon as something new comes out, the NXL is going to find a way to try to cap it.
Yeah.
Its full potential, I feel, with doing some type of a new media pass for it.
Yeah. Like, Matt, you mentioned the drones. I actually just had a guy, I don't know if you guys follow this group I'm in. There's so many different groups on Facebook, it drives me crazy, but I posted something about what Breakout wants to do, and this guy said, hey man, I can help you with drones. And I'm like, sweet, get a hold of me. And then it started this huge, like, shitstorm. Like, hey man, if you're going to use drones, you need to go through the FAA. You need to register it. And it just started this huge thing, which is ironic to me, because I'm talking to you two as well. I know, Brittany, I've already mentioned this to you. We as Breakout have an opportunity to do something with, I'm not going to say their name yet, but a pro team from the Midwest, and they practice inside. And they literally said, hey man, we want you to bring a drone out. It's cool. You can fly the drone inside. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're right. I don't know how you feel, Matt, but I think Brittany is touching a good point where are there going to be some more strict rules, media passes for each different format? I mean, are they eventually going to start? Are they allowing drones right now in the league?
I think they are, but you have to rent out their drones. I don't know if you can bring in your own.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if you do bring in your own, you have to, I think in the email it said you have to register it, and then it has to be cleared through a bunch of people before you're even allowed to fly it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I don't know, Matt, I think I heard you kind of grunt a little bit. Is that FAA thing even true with registering it with them?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what, but then I heard there was some loophole, like, it's only if it's being used for commercial reasons. I don't know. I'm like, you know what? I'll do some research. We haven't even gotten to use it.
It's pretty new, that rule about drones, so I'm sure there's going to be tons of confusion before it's finally set in stone.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do both of you guys dip into video at all, or do you just straight do photography?
Matt does. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done video for, I think, since I started, actually.
Yeah. Brittany doesn't want to get into that?
No. Video's not my thing.
Yeah. But you kind of have, I can see where it goes both ways. You know, I like both. If I was in one of your shoes, I would probably maybe try both. I don't know. So I admire that answer. I mean, sometimes it's like it's almost like some people. I know there's been a lot of criticism on the whole 360 thing. Some people are like the 360 thing is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of advancement that can be done to it. I think it's super cool. The fact that I can look behind me with a 360 camera, I think it's pretty sweet. And the fact that you can click and drag, that's super.
Yeah.
Because like that thing to me, that camera screams paintball to me. Like if I can watch something and be able to like drag it and look at a guy in the back corner versus just looking straight ahead, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a nice camera in the center of a field, live stream it, and be able to look wherever you want. I'm sure that'd be pretty cool to see.
That's one of our goals. It's a dream of mine. At this point, it's just a dream. Well, I've asked you again. I think we're getting close to 8. I know it's 9 o'clock. All right, both of you guys are on Eastern time, right?
Yep.
Good. I know you guys are probably. Now, I didn't even get to talk to you guys about like more of your personal lives. Do you guys work in school? Brittany, I think you're in school, but are both of you guys in school? You work full time? What's the?
I work full time, and I do not go to school right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just a student right now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that even answers the whole $200 media pass question even more. I mean, that's you guys.
Yeah.
That's so Matt, what do you do for work?
I work in New Jersey at a manufacturing company. We make like lab equipment.
Oh, nice.
Shakers, weights, all that stuff.
Yes. That's cool. Well, I'll definitely have to hit you up when I'm out there, man. I work for a healthcare company, and my client is Shriners Hospitals for Children. So
we might have done business with them.
I'm sure you probably have. So, in closing, I'll tell you guys that again, although it might not seem like via webcam, but I'm super stoked to be working with you guys. I think we'll be a good fit with each other, and I think adding 2 photographers like at your caliber to Breakout means a lot to me. I think it's going to help us kind of accomplish what we want to accomplish this year. Yeah. And so, Brittany, you were the first one, and then Matt, you quickly followed, man. When I saw your email, I'm like, I got people interested in helping me out.
As soon as I saw your post about Brittany, I was like, well, I can't let her have all the thunder.
That's awesome. It's surprising, like, Brittany created this wave. Like, you emailed me, and then I'm not going to say your name because I don't remember it, but B, I had some kid that got a hold of me on Instagram, and he's like, hey, man, I want to help you out. I live up in Chicago. I'm like, sweet, I can use something in Chicago because the scene there is huge. And he's like, well, I've never done pictures before. Okay, but so do you know what paintball is? And he's like, yeah, but I haven't shot it before. And I'm like, well, although I part of me wants to give you a shot, man, but yeah, I kind of need. But needless to say, I had people coming out of the woodwork. Brittany created the wave. Yeah. I had Matt email me. I had like several guys email me. I'm hoping to bring Phil on from Texas. Like I said, he does the MagFed stuff, and I really, the MagFed stuff's new to me, and I really want to gain exposure, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with our mission with the industry, but we don't want to just cover tournaments either. So I definitely want to get into that scenario, MagFed market. So
yeah, I would too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody's out there, we got, reach out to us. We're willing to get involved.
Let us know.
Yeah, let these two know. And same thing with, if anybody now, I want to give you guys the exposure, but I also don't want to overload you, because you guys do have lives outside of paintball. If a team, an individual wants to work with either one of you, is that possible at events? I know, like, do you guys usually get paid for an event, or do you have room, say somebody gets a hold of you last minute? Like, I guess, how does it work if somebody wants to work with you guys?
Brittany, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think for both of us, it would be the best way would be to message us before the event, through either Instagram or Facebook, whether it be our personal account or our photography page. Message us about it.
Yeah.
See what type of coverage you have, and if you do go to an event, and if you do want to ask us about coverage, like, do come up and talk to us about it and see if we can fit it in. But don't be running up to us while the game is happening and be like, can you cover our team? Like,
Does that happen?
I've had people ask, like, who I'm working with and if I can cover them during midpoint, and I'm kind of like, but no, definitely messaging us through the social media is going to be their best bet, I find.
Okay.
And
I was going to say, does she answer for you, Matt, or did you want to add to it?
a couple of things. Even for me, and I'm sure this will go for Brittany as well. Even if you can't afford what we're asking, let us know. I mean, I'm sure Brittany's the same as me. We'll gladly work with you to be able to help you pay for it, because I've played before. Brittany's played before. We know how expensive it is. I hate asking for a ton of money for this because I know how expensive it is, especially this Vegas event. But even just letting us know that you're interested, and then we can go from there. You have to tell us for us to be able to help you. You can't just sit back and say, oh, well, I can't afford it, because we might be able to help you with it. Most time I will be able to help you with it. I'm sure the same is for Brittany.
Yeah. Completely, yeah.
Well, everybody heard it. We got 2 photographers for hire, so be my guest. And now, do you guys mind? I haven't had anybody reach out to me, but do you guys mind if somebody gets, like, can I be a mediary if somebody reaches out to me wanting to use one of you guys? Just kind of.
You won't turn that down, no.
Okay. Because I'm sure there might be some people, especially after watching things like this, and I'm going to be doing some other promotion, on YouTube. We're going to have the network and the media piece, and I really want to focus a lot on the media, especially with working with you guys now. I just really want to create something awesome, and obviously we can't do it without having teams. And now, do you guys do it? I know, Brittany, you do like player edits and stuff. Matt, do you do individuals as well, or are you just strictly teams?
I do individuals too, if I'm not really busy, but I'll gladly do individuals too.
Okay. Cool. Well, you guys all heard it. You can reach out to me, reach out to them directly. Either way, we got 2 great photographers that want to work with you. And yeah, I think that's awesome. I think what you guys are doing is great. And so Vegas is what? Are we almost exactly a month away, right? When is it? Like the 18th?
Yeah, it's looming.
Yeah.
It's getting close. Now, do you guys usually get there the day before, day of? When do you guys usually get there?
Yeah, usually the day before, but Matt, you get in
Thursday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish I could make it to Vegas, but unfortunately I can't. But I will be. You guys will be representing, hopefully, Breakout shirts by then. I got 3 weeks, well, almost 4 weeks to get you guys some shirts. But you will get shirts, I promise.
Okay.
So if anybody's looking for Matt and Brittany, they'll be the only 2 there, I promise, wearing Breakout Paintball shirts. Because I am not releasing these shirts just willy-nilly, throwing them out there. So you will see these 2 in shirts. And then I'd love to get you guys, Brittany, I know it's kind of a trek for you, and well, I guess it is for you too, Matt. We need to somehow meet up this season and do an event in person. Hopefully I can get out to an NXL, or I know, Brittany, you mentioned getting out to the Midwest. The MSXL, which we will be playing, St. Louis Ambition will be playing, getting pretty big this year. It's Darren Tapp's doing a sweet thing with the MSXL, so I don't know if either one of you guys has done it yet, but it'd be great to maybe get you guys out to one of those.
Yeah, I would love to come out to one of those.
It's a really cool event. So, but yeah, it's right at 9 o'clock. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Is there anything else you guys want to let talk before I close up here?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
All right. Any shout
outs
you want to
get? Bruins hats too?
What did you say?
Are we getting Bruins hats too?
I don't know, man. This one's pretty vintage. I straight up jacked this from my dad. This is like from the 70s. I wish you could though. That this is like my signature. Anybody that knows me knows like this hat. I take it off to sleep. That's about it. I wish. No, I wouldn't do that for you. Next time you see me, I'll wear a Philly hat. How's that sound?
Okay.
Make you feel better. But I wanted to, before I let you guys go, I just wanted to. There is a field out in Oregon, and I don't know if you guys saw me post up on Facebook, and by any means, he did not ask me to promote him in any way, but I reached out to him, and the reason why I reached out to him, it's PT Paintball out in Oregon, and the reason why I'm saying this is we talked about little guys in the industry. This dude has been trying to build a field now for 4 years, and it's not just any field. He's primarily building this field so that first responders and vets can play. Okay. He deals a lot with vets with PTSD, and almost like Chris from Under, he has a mission with Army vets and military vets, and he for some reason keeps getting denied loans, and he has a GoFundMe page now, and I just wanted to announce with you guys on here and to whoever we share this with is please, even if it's $1, like this guy, he's a legit dude. His name's Jeff. He's trying to open paintball out in Oregon, and I think he has a good cause. He deserves the help. I think he only has $170 so far. He can certainly use a lot more than that to try to get this field open. Mm-hmm. So check out his GoFundMe page. Again, it sounds like I'm preaching here, but part of Breakout's mission is to help the little guy, and I feel like he is one of those smaller guys, and we can always use some more fields out there, especially in places like Oregon. I know there's a few fields out there, but we can always use more paintball fields, right? More paintball fields means more players, means the industry grows. So
exactly, yeah.
Whoever watches this, if you guys share this, just give a couple bucks if you can. It's PT Paintball. He's on GoFundMe. If you can't find it, you can just reach out to me and I can shoot you guys the link or whatever. So, but to you guys, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out. I think it was a success. A couple of hiccups, but first breakout session. I'm pretty happy with it. Yep. I'll be sure to post up the link. I believe the way Google Hangouts works is it automatically gets saved to YouTube, so I'll be able to post a link up tonight or early in the morning, and you guys can share it. And cool. Again, keep it in your heads. We're going to do something good this year, and I definitely want to meet you guys in person at any event, get you guys out to St. Louis or something. So even if I have to go to Canada and Philly, we're going to meet up. So again, thank you guys. I'm super stoked that you guys are a part of Breakout. Be on the lookout for those shirts, and you guys have a good night. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All right, All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
See ya.